not difficult to find out who's living through domestic violence. It's easy, but sometimes we don't want to do anything about it. So, to that victim who's out there, to that person, if you're in this crowd, or you're listening, or you're in your home or your workplace, we here stand together. We have joined together as a coalition to say enough is enough. Think about that person who's living through domestic violence today. They are not to blame. They are not to blame because we say you never said anything. It's a tough topic. Not too many people want to talk about it. Nobody wants to address it. Think of that person who's afraid and saying, how do I seek help? How do I get out of this relationship? They have to know, and they have to get the message that they're not alone. We are standing with them, and we're going to continue to do everything we can to take them out of that life that they're living through domestic violence. And not only them, but maybe their children as well. Because that's why these children grow up, the same way, and thinking that it's okay to have control. It's okay to beat somebody. And I say the word beat, right? Luis has brought up, during these different conferences, Luis has talked about how we try to be politically correct ourselves and talking about now and saying that we don't want to talk about it. That's what it is. And Luis will remind us that it's people that are getting beat, that are getting their hair pulled, that are getting slapped, that are getting controlled. That's what it is. So, again, to the victim who's out there, to the person who's living through domestic violence or surprises, we are here to help.
We have committed ourselves, obviously, to this cause, not just because we're prosecutors, but because we see that this is a pervasive illness, violence, and beatings that are occurring in our community, and our people are the ones who are getting hurt. And I say that not just because I'm a Hispanic, I'm a woman, but because it's our people, it's our culture, it's our own children that are going to have to suffer the effects of what is happening in the home. We know that we can't do this alone. The fight is the strength is in numbers.
We need your help. And I take it that because you're here, that you want to join our caravan. Because, folks, this is a war that we're losing. We're losing this war every day. I was a magistrate judge, just like you were, Ricardo, for many years before becoming DA. So one time I had this one individual in front of me in his orange jumpsuit. And I said, "Sir, you're accused of striking your wife." "Sí, juez? Es mi señora." I said, "Sir, you're accused of hitting your wife." "Sí, juez? Es mi señora." Like, it took me a while to get over the shock to realize that he was saying, "Yeah, I can beat her because she's my wife. She's my object. She's my possession." And I was so upset I had to bite my tongue. Because as a judge, you're not supposed to say what you think. But in my mind, I thought, what a sorry individual you are. What a sorry excuse for a man you are. Because men don't hit women. Real men respect women. So that's what we're up against, our culture. So these are discussions that have to be had in the home, not in the courtroom. When we show up, it's too late. Dads, you have to talk to your sons. Say, "Mijo, I know you have a girlfriend. And Mijo, I want you to know that you respect that girl. And if I hear that you hit her, you're not going to have to worry about Sheriff Galen arresting you. You're going to have to worry about me, your dad. Because I'm going to take care of that." That's where it starts. By the time we get into the courtroom, it's too late. It's already happened.
So many children grow up in households where domestic violence takes place on a daily basis, and they become immune to it. They begin to believe, you know what, this is normal. This is the way my dad and I, or my dad and mom interact. This is the way I live. After an incident of domestic violence, who is in the corner? Who's cowering in the corner? The children. And unfortunately, statistics show that children, especially males, who grow up in an environment that is fraught with domestic violence, many times repeat that type of behavior in their own relationships in the future.
In the last year, 204 Texans lost their lives because home was not safe. They ranged in ages from 14 to 85. And so when you think about the 14-year-old who was killed by her boyfriend, her biggest fear should be, or her biggest worry that day should be, what Snapchat filter am I going to use today? And for the 84-year-old, she was somebody's abuelita, right? And she should be enjoying her golden years. By contrast, she was killed by her husband. So what can I do? First and foremost, we can model healthy relationships to our children. We can raise good men. We can raise confident women. And we have that power individually to do that.
We know that not everybody that came into our office filed charges or filed a report because they're afraid of retaliation, mainly retaliation. People say, well, why don't they say something? Why don't they just get up and go? Well, when someone is so controlled and you don't have money, you're not allowed to work, you're not allowed to go to school, you don't want to get your family involved because, they could get hurt as well, or they could do something to the perpetrator. They're trying to protect their families. They're trying to keep the family together. So when somebody doesn't come forward, it's not because they don't want to. Sometimes they're just really afraid to do so. So please, if you do know of someone, or if you personally are going through some type of abuse, do not be afraid to reach out for help.
And to our community and to everybody who's here, again, we beg of you to please stay committed, be committed, and invite someone to join in some kind of effort to end domestic violence. Because that's the only way we're gonna beat this war, like Mr. Stein said. We gotta do it all together. And it's just not just us up here or law enforcement agencies. We need the community to be able to join in so we can end this.